All right, so today was day one of the monsoon session, and it was a stormy one at that, pretty much practically setting the tone for the next few days. Massive uproar by the opposition on a demand for discussion on Operation Sindoor, on the Pahalgam attack, and importantly, President Trump's interference. The government has given in to the opposition's demand. There will be a debate in Parliament next week. However, the opposition wants to know the exact date. This is how it all panned out amidst the leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi, coming out and stating that he's not being allowed to speak.
पहलगाम की क्रूर हत्या, अत्याचार, नरसंहार पूरी दुनिया चौंक उठी थी। आतंकवादी और आतंकवादी के आके दुनिया का ध्यान उनकी तरफ केंद्रित हुआ था।
A stormy start to the monsoon session of Parliament. Ahead of the proceedings, Prime Minister Narendra Modi hailed the armed forces for achieving all objectives of Operation Sindoor. The Prime Minister also thanked the opposition for the united pushback against terrorism, praising how the all-party delegations exposed Pakistan's role in promoting terrorism on the world stage.
दल हित छोड़ करके देश हित में ज्यादातर दलों के प्रतिनिधि विश्व भ्रमण किया और एक स्वर से दुनिया के सामने आतंकवादियों का आका पाकिस्तान को बेनकाब करने का एक बहुत सफल अभियान चलाया। राष्ट्र हित में किए गए इस महत्वपूर्ण कार्य के लिए उन सभी सांसदों की सराहना करना चाहता हूं।
However, fireworks went off as soon as Parliament proceedings began, with the opposition demanding a discussion on Operation Sindoor and US President Donald Trump's repeated truce claims, which led to multiple adjournments. Opposition leaders held placards as they sought discussion on the Pahalgam terror attack and Operation Sindoor. A discussion on Operation Sindoor is to take place in Lok Sabha, and 16 hours have been allotted for the discussions.
मैं सुनता हूं उनका, मेरा एक ही मिनट सुनिए।
In the Rajya Sabha, a fierce face-off ensued between Leader of Opposition Mallikarjun Kharge and Leader of the House JP Nadda.
पहलगाम हमला 22 अप्रैल को हुआ था। अब तक आतंकवादी पकड़े तो नहीं गए, लेकिन हुआ क्या? एक मिनट लेकिन J&K में कम से कम इंटेलिजेंस इनकी सिक्योरिटी है, उसके बारे में उनका फेल्योर हुआ, ये उन्होंने ही कहा है। लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर ने कहा है इसमें इंटेलिजेंस फेल्योर है, ये एक्सेप्ट उन्होंने ही किया। ये हमारी बात नहीं सर, हमारे को इंफॉर्मेशन तो देना चाहिए, हमारे से तो आपने मदद ली।
इस हाउस को और इस हाउस के माध्यम से देश में कहीं यह संदेश नहीं जाना चाहिए कि सरकार पहलगाम और ऑपरेशन सिंदूर पर चर्चा नहीं चाहती। हम चर्चा करेंगे, हर तरीके से करेंगे, और ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के सारी पॉइंट्स को देश और दुनिया के सामने रखा जाएगा। और मैं यह भी बताना चाहता हूं कि आज दिन तक आजादी के बाद इस तरीके का ऑपरेशन नहीं हुआ जो प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में हुआ है।
Rajya Sabha chairperson assured the opposition that a discussion would be held on Operation Sindoor for 9 hours.
The government is ready for discussion. The government is ready for comprehensive discussion. I will meet with the leaders, settle for a discussion, and I will ensure full-fledged discussion.
Leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi, accused the government of not permitting him to speak.
मैं लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन हूँ, मेरा हक है, तो मुझे तो कभी बोलना ही नहीं देते हैं। तो ये एक नया अप्रोच है।
रक्षा मंत्री के जवाब से संतुष्ट हो जाएंगे आप लोग?
He was not allowed to speak today. He should be allowed to speak. He's the leader of the opposition.
The BJP hit back at the Gandhis, accusing them of misleading the House.
अगर उनको बोलना है तो अपने सदस्यों को बिल से कहें कि बैठ जाएं। मैं निश्चित तौर से राहुल गांधी को भी समझ दूंगा, लेकिन वो तो राहुल गांधी के बोलना है इसके पहले अगर पूरे सदस्यों को सदन में भेज दे रहे हैं बिल में, इससे साफ है कि वो बोलना नहीं चाहते, वो सदन को बाधित करना चाहते हैं।
The monsoon session of Parliament will end on the 21st of August and 21 sittings spread over 32 days. Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, one thing is quite sure, it's a monsoon storm that is incoming where the Parliament of India is concerned. What we are now bracing for is going to be fireworks next week when there will be a debate on Operation Sindoor and all the questions that the opposition wants to put forth. But having said that, the opposition still wants a particular date. They want to know exactly when this discussion is going to take place and if the Prime Minister will attend. Let's take all these questions to our political panelists this evening. Joining me, Sanju Verma, National Spokesperson, Bharatiya Janata Party, Dr. Shama Mohammed, National Spokesperson, Congress, Rajat Sethi, political commentator, Ashutosh, author and political analyst. All of you will get your 2-minute timer to put forth your party views and your own individual views. I will begin with Dr. Shama Mohammed. Dr. Mohammed, today the opposition, cutting across party lines, came together demanding a discussion in the House where Operation Sindoor, number 1, where the Pahalgam attack, number 2 and number 3, especially the point that your party made, which was that to address the interference of the President of America when it came down to what he constantly says has been mediation. Dr. Shama Mohammed, in principle, the government has agreed to the opposition's demand. There is going to be a debate in Parliament next week in both the Lok Sabha as well as the Rajya Sabha.
Yeah, so if the government has agreed to it, then why didn't they not let Rahul Gandhi speak? I mean, why did they interrupt Kharge, our leader of opposition, the Rajya Sabha? It's very simple, Preeti. When we wanted a special session, all the opposition parties, they did not allow a special session. It's very important because there are a number of questions we need to ask. First and foremost, where are the 4 terrorists? It's very important. Like in when we had 26/11, we caught Ajmal Kasab, we hung him. Now here, the Prime Minister goes around saying, putting himself in uniforms, saying Vijay Yatra, we have won. It's not him who has won. It's our army who has won this for us, and we are very proud and we salute our army. But there are certain issues, like the defense attaché in Indonesia. He said that, on the 7th of May, we lost some planes because we were not allowed a full province, because we were told not to attack the military areas and the defense areas, that was what he said. Then we had the CDS saying at the Shangri-La dialogues that, some planes have come down. Then we have Trump saying that, he is the one who got in the ceasefire 24 times in 70 days. He says, it is me. I put a trade embargo on India and Pakistan. And then he says, there are some 5 planes down. So there are certain questions. And even if there are certain planes down or anything in a war, it happens. It's normal. Be transparent about what happened. And that's what we are asking. And the other question is, when we were ahead in this war, why a ceasefire? Why not finish all the terrorist camps, the military installations of Pakistan? And we never get answers for this. Every time there is a cover-up happening that we will not answer to you. So when we wanted, and also the fact of the matter is, let's understand, nobody has called Pakistan out as a terrorist nation. They get an IMF loan, they get a World Bank loan, they get...
Okay. Now your time is up, your fader is going to automatically come down. I'll circle back to you when the question of Rahul Gandhi claiming that he's been gagged in Parliament and he's the leader of opposition. We'll circle back to it because the BJP or the government has a counter to that where they said that he was only inciting the other MPs. Number 1, he was on the phone, didn't look like he really wanted to speak, but we'll come back to that. So hold on to that thought. I want to bring in Sanju Verma into this conversation. 2 minutes, Sanju Verma, that begin now. The fact is, there is nothing wrong in what the opposition is demanding because you go back in history and we'll put up the whole graphic timeline of it on the number of times that the Prime Minister of India has spoken every time we've come at the back of war or conflict, be it Dr. Manmohan Singh in the time of conflict. We're going to put those graphics out. Let's get those graphics right from the word go. And Sanju Verma, so one might say it's the prerogative of the government to decide. but ultimately it's the prerogative of the opposition to demand as well. Will the Prime Minister attend? And when are these dates?
I hope my time starts now. That was a very, very lengthy question from your end, Preeti, but that's your prerogative. Now, let me give some hard facts, which your audience needs to know. First and foremost, July 2024, the leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi, spoke for 100 minutes. Okay, 1 ghanta 40 minute bhashan chala Rahul Gandhi ka. Then no confidence motion, which was placed on the floor of the House in 2023, if you recall, he spoke for a solid 35 minutes. 4th February 2025, Rahul Gandhi spoke for 42 minutes, and the moment he came out of Parliament, he said, "Mera to mic band kar diya." 42 minutes bolne ke baad. Then today he spoke for 10 minutes, but look at the hypocrisy of this entire thing. When Rahul Gandhi was making his point, his own leaders jumped into the well of the House sloganeering. It was then that the House was adjourned. Rahul Gandhi is LOP. But let's be very clear, and your audience needs to know this. Om Birla, the Speaker of the House, wide powers bestowed on him, wide Article 93, 94, 95, 96, 97 of the Constitution decides the proceedings of the House and how business will be conducted. Then let me also say that Rajnath Singh has said 25 hours will be devoted to a discussion on Operation Sindoor, 16 hours in Lok Sabha, 9 hours in Rajya Sabha. जो एक कहते हैं ना कहावत, खिसियानी बिल्ली खंबा नोचे, पूरा का पूरा opposition खिसियानी बिल्ली बन चुका है. Tell me honestly, Aadhar, they wanted a discussion, we said yes, they ran away. Ram Janmabhoomi, they wanted a discussion, we said yes, they ran away. Manipur also, during no confidence motion, when Amit Shah and Narendra Modi started speaking, they ran away. EVMs, they wanted a discussion, we said yes, they ran away. Pegasus, they wanted a discussion, we said yes, they ran away. Inflation, they wanted a discussion, we said yes. When Nirmala Sitharaman was speaking, they ran away. Unemployment, they wanted a discussion, we started speaking, they ran away.
Ma'am, your time is up, your fader is going to go down, and I'll come back to you because it's interesting because I asked you about the Prime Minister, whether he will speak on the floor of the House. You wished to answer or you wish to touch upon Rahul Gandhi's claims of not being allowed to speak. We'll circle back to that question later, but maybe then you can answer on the Prime Minister speaking or not. But I want to bring in right now Ashutosh and Rajat Sethi before we go back to Dr. Shama Mohammed and Sanju Verma. Ashutosh, the fact is the government has allowed a 25-hour debate which will take place next week, and that is going to be a full discussion on, as the opposition had wanted, a special session. Now it's going to happen where 2 days will be dedicated solely for a discussion on Operation Sindoor and the fallout of that, which I'm sure will include President Trump's interference as well.
See, Preeti, let's understand this. There's a total breakdown of communication between the government and the opposition both. And who should be blamed, who should not be blamed, the history will judge this. But the fact is, today there is no mutual respect between the opposition and the government, and you can easily find out even in a panel discussion how these spokespersons, they are attacking each other, they're talking to each other. That is happening for a very, very long time. So don't expect that there will be some niceties around and they will be very nice to each other and they will... The issue is, I think Operation Sindoor is one of the most important events that has happened in the last many years. And the Parliament has every right to know what has happened, because if the government believes that they report to the Parliament and they are accountable to the Parliament, the first thing in the House should be the open discussion on the Parliament. And if the government has not considered for the special session, at least in this session, that should be the first thing which should be done. And this is what has happened in the past. Now, the issue is there are two kinds of narrative. One narrative is by the government and another narrative is by the army. The narrative given by the government is, Prime Minister says, he has given the full autonomy and freedom to the army to react the way they want. Whereas the Captain Shiv Kumar has very categorically said, it's part of the army, that there were serious restrictions and because of that certain things has happened. Even the CDS has accepted that the few jet has been down. Whereas the National Security Advisor is saying that where are the pictures? As if he's trying to say that nothing has happened. Now, there's a huge gap between the two. Army is saying something else, and those are not the small soldiers. They are holding very important position and they are directly responsible for the operation. Now, if the government is saying, the Prime Minister is saying that they are given full freedom, and the some army officer is saying, no, the full freedom was not given. Obviously, the government has a lot of answers to face in the parliament, and they should.
Okay, all right. The fact is the government has also constantly maintained that it's an ongoing operation. So the details of the operation will not be given when it's an ongoing operation. But where is the time frame to that? That's a question that needs to be addressed as well. But Rajat Sethi, I want to bring you into this conversation, especially in what the demand of the opposition was. The sheer fact that today, after even the government has said that they will conduct, I would reckon, 2 days, 5 hours have been given of debate in both houses of parliament. But the larger question that needs to be addressed, which the opposition is demanding, and there's nothing wrong in Rajat Sethi on asking whether or not the Prime Minister will attend. History stands testimony that the Prime Minister of India, after every war, every conflict, has come out and attended, these debates and made a statement.
What I don't understand, PTG, is where does the opposition have the calendar of Prime Minister Modi where it says that he's not going to come out and address? Why are they in a hurry to jump to conclusions? Again, I'm not privy to that, and I believe none of these members of parliament in the opposition are privy to it as well. This is an important topic. Undoubtedly, foreign policy and our defense policies are two pillars on which our sovereign nation stands on. And I believe parliament is the right place to ask relevant questions. And relevant questions being that underlined statement, the bizarre understanding and the ludicrous understanding of the opposition, the kind of unbelievable questions that the Congress party and those supporters of the Congress party and the other opposition ask is laughable, to say the least. My point is, when NSA Ajit Doval talks about no targets within India, no place within India being hit, how does that not matter to our opposition leaders? And they're still stuck on with this absolutely baseless sort of assertion that, oh my God, our jets were downed. Does the Americans, when their ships and these warships were being attacked by the Yemeni drones, were the Congress questioning, oh, what happened to your warships and why did that happen? No. Operations and military operations don't work by that logic. They work by the logic of certain objectives which are pre-decided, and those objectives have to be met. And our defense forces not just met those objectives, they went over and above that and hit Pakistan. And this is what NSA Ajit Doval was referring to. And the satellite images are proofs of that no single place was hit other than the border areas in Punch, Rajouri, which was shelling that happened because of Pakistani responses around those border areas. But nothing beyond that. My problem is that Rahul Gandhi, when Donald Trump talks about 5 jets being down, how does this automatically translate for Rahul Gandhi that 5 Indian jets were downed? You need to be patently anti-national to even question that.
Okay. Rajat, your fader is going to go down 2 minutes over. Going back to Dr. Shama Mohammed. Dr. Shama Mohammed, the fact is, whether the opposition agrees with it or not, the official line is that Operation Sindoor is still on. It's a continuing operation. I understand that there are pertinent questions that the opposition has and should ask, especially when it comes down where you ask for a special session on answers on what happened during Operation Sindoor. But do you reckon that there is this one line which is sensitive enough that possibly one needs to refrain from crossing, especially when it comes down to our losses, what Rajat was referring to? Unmute yourself, Shama. Dr. Mohammed, please unmute yourself.
Sorry about
Make
that.
Your point.
No, first and foremost, we salute the army. We are with the army. Now, Rajat said 2 things. He said that, how do you know the Prime Minister is going to come or not? Of course, the Prime Minister of India does not even go for the all-party meet. He has not even visited Pahalgam. Any Prime Minister, when something like this happens, comes back to his country, first thing they do is go to where this thing happened and meet their relatives or whoever died. He didn't care. He went straight to Bihar for a rally. Let's understand that. Then the question arises is that the Prime Minister of India always says that he will be there, he will come to Parliament, but he never arrives. Now, the other allegation, he said, baseless allegation on which Rahul Gandhi speaks. Now, Rahul Gandhi has never said the jets are down or anything. It is first who spoke about it? The CDS. So you're telling today on live TV, the CDS of India is nobody. Didn't he say it in Shangri-La that some jets were down? So what is wrong in that? And we are not making it the most important. We have said, like Kharge ji said today in Parliament, we stand and we stood with the government of India in this, and we still stand. But we need to know the truth, because it's not just Trump. It is the CDS, and it's also the special attaché who was their defense attaché in Indonesia. And he said our prowess will reduce because of this, because we were given instructions not to attack their military installations. So we need to know the truth, what is happening. And we also need to know why the countries have not condemned Pakistan. The countries is Taiwan, Israel and Afghanistan. So because of that, since Israel supported us, we are not calling out the genocide in Palestine. Can you imagine a resolution passed in United Nations against Afghanistan because of the plight of women there, and we abstained because Afghanistan supported us? I mean, Afghanistan is not even Islamic. It is a terrorist nation which does not even support women or anybody. There is no democracy.
All right, ma'am, your time is up. Your fader is going to fall. I want to go back now to Sanju Verma, because Sanju Verma, the fact is, because there is a trust deficit, it does seem that it's a privilege that the government accords to the opposition where it wants to share information regarding Operation Sindoor. And I'll give you an example. Now, Kargil happened during the government which was yours, which was the BJP. At that point of time, there was at least a cohesive understanding between the opposition and the government there, especially where information was concerned. By asking for certain facts to be put forth really is not anti-national, many would suggest. For example, with where the operation of Kargil were concerned, we go on to celebrate our heroes, the men who fell during operation in Kargil. This time around, we don't even know their names.
Preeti, first and foremost, I hope your question is over, because, last time you started my ticker from 1:52 rather than 2 minutes. Anyway, be that as it may, now let me answer your question, and I don't want to be interrupted. Narendra Modi did not do this, he did not do that, blah, blah, blah. Let me give some examples for the benefit of your audience. I think they're smart enough to come to a conclusion. 2005 Delhi bombings, 62 people killed under Congress government. Attitude hua to hua. 2006 Varanasi bombings, 28 killed. Congress attitude hua to hua. 2006 Mumbai train blast, 209 killed. Congress attitude hua to hua. 2006 Malegaon bombings, 35 killed. Congress in power, the attitude was hua to hua. 2007 Samjhauta Express blast under Congress government, attitude was hua to hua. 2008 Jaipur blast, Congress attitude was hua to hua. 2008 Mumbai 26/11 terror attack, 166 people dead. The attitude of Congress was hua to hua. 2008 Ahmedabad bombings, 56 killed under Congress government. Attitude was hua to hua. 2008 Delhi bombings, 30 people killed under Congress. Attitude was hua to hua. 2010 Pune bombing, 18 killed. Congress attitude was hua to hua. 2010 Chinnaswamy Stadium blast under Congress government. Attitude was hua to hua. 2011 Mumbai blast again, 26 killed. Congress's attitude was hua to hua. So Congress has been booted out because people have seen through its charade. Now coming to Operation Sindoor. I'm always asked in various debates, Sanju Verma, why is Prime Minister Modi not saying X, Y, Z? Prime Minister Modi is the Prime Minister of the country. He will say what he needs to say. He will say what he wants to say. He will not say what Sanju Verma, Shama Mohammed, Ashutosh Gupta, Rajat Sethi or Preeti Chaudhary want him to say. For the first time under Operation Sindoor, Pakistan's military combat readiness was paralyzed. Multiple terror camps were demolished and 11 air defense systems of Pakistan were annihilated.
Ma'am, your time is up. Your fader has gone down. The point is, Dr. Sanju Verma, the beauty of a timer is that it displays itself. So you might say it started at 1:52, it started at .2, and you're privy to the clip there. Ma'am, I can't hear you because I have no control. The fader drops after 2 minutes. I'll come back to you. I want to just go back right now. I want to bring in Rajat Sethi and Ashutosh into this conversation. Let's just shift focus to what happened in Parliament today. The other bone of contention, Rajat, was the fact that the Leader of Opposition says that he didn't get the time to speak. He wasn't allowed to speak. The fact is, he's not said it the first time around. I just want to take you through some of the examples in the past. And, we've researched that every time Rahul Gandhi has said why he hasn't been allowed to speak. The last time was 18th March 2025. Leader of Opposition said he was not allowed to speak in Lok Sabha when the discussion of New India was going on. His comments came after Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla declined a request for him to speak. Before that, 28th June 2024, at that point of time, his comments, was on the NEET paper leak, and then was again declined by the speaker at that point of time. 5th March 2023, the mic in our parliament is silenced. That was the claim by Rahul Gandhi. Multiple, and we are putting up the whole graphic line there. Rajat, the fact is, it's not something he said today at the back of Operation Sindoor. There's a concerted attempt. There's a concerted grouse of the opposition leaders, not just pertaining to the Congress. It's coming from the TMC. It's coming from other leaders who say every time we speak, either the cameras are shifted or our mics are cut off.
But Preeti ji, while you are doing such elaborate research, why don't you do one more column? Why don't you add one more column in each of these instances? What rule of the Lok Sabha was flouted?
How do you know we haven't done that?
No, again,
make your point.
You should have publicized that. Now, my problem here is the following. Rahul Gandhi, if he thinks that Parliament is the extension of his drawing room, then sadly to him, this hasn't dawned on to him. He cannot just stand up and start speaking and the whole world has to fall on our feet and our knees to listen to Mr. Rahul Gandhi. It doesn't happen like that. There is a rule book. I am not a parliamentarian, but people who have worked in the parliament understand the procedures of the parliament. It's a pretty well laid out thing. You should do, therefore, a favor to your audience by against each instance, you should lay out what exact rule was flouted and what recourse did Rahul Gandhi even attempt. Instead of blabbering before the media houses outside the parliament, what recourse did he take in order to claim certain rights that every member of parliament is bestowed with? Other than that, this is a frivolous discussion which he wants to just draw limelight. That mujhe bolne nahi diya, I had something very, very special to say. I'm sorry to say, you've seen what he speaks, what he wants to say. He wants to stand up out of turn and do all kinds of theatrics in the parliament. India doesn't have time for that. And India doesn't want to pass on the privilege to him that this isn't a drawing room for you where you can do tamasha the way you want to do it. I have nothing more to add.
You've saved 30 seconds. You can pass it on to anyone you want. Sanju Verma has already raised her finger. But I'll bring in Ashutosh into this conversation. And I'll come back to you, ma'am. I'll just bring it. I'll give you 30 seconds. Rajat will happily pass it on to you, I think. But Ashutosh, I want to bring you into this conversation because there's a point that Rajat Sethi is making. Yes, there is a grouse which is genuine enough at times when the opposition says that, mics are silenced, the focus of the camera shifts every time we want to make an important point. But on the flip side, constantly trying to harp on the I'm not being allowed to speak. Ashutosh, as a journalist, you've covered Parliament. There are rules, there is decorum involved. And you yourself know when the leader of opposition can speak and not speak. It can't be ad nauseum. You decide that you wanted to intervene and you can get up and say something. It doesn't work like that.
See, Preeti, first of all, let me say this. And I think this has to be said up front. The fact of the matter is that from 2004 to later 2009, the many blasts happened in this country. And the BJP raised the issue to the sky. But the fact of the matter is the countrymen did not trust BJP and they had given Congress party their number increase from 145 to 205. So they said, hua to hua. Humko BJP vishwas nahi, humko Congress party mein vishwas hai. The statistics doesn't add anything, frankly speaking, because the blast has also happened in Gujarat, where the Prime Minister Modi was then the Chief Minister. He also failed miserably. And not once, but many blasts happened in Gujarat, Ahmedabad, Surat, Rajkot, and many, many places. Let's not get into these because these are the things to mislead people. The fact of the matter today is, I think I'm the only one who has covered Parliament. Probably you would have also covered the Parliament.
I haven't, sir. I'll be honest, I haven't covered Parliament. At the best I've covered Parliament is while sitting in the studio.
The greatest tradition in the Parliament is it is not run most of the time by rules and the regulation, but by convention. The convention, and I should also add this. True. The LOP position is not a constitutional position. It's a statutory position. There's no mention of LOP in the Parliament, in the Constitution itself. But whenever the leader of opposition stands up, somebody speaking from the government yields. And when somebody is speaking from the treasury and wants to, in opposition, somebody wants to add, especially LOP, the treasury also yields. So it is a mutual respect for each other. And when the speaker stands up, those who are speaking, they also stop speaking. These are the great convention of this country. And if you just want to flout everything, you just want to say anything, you can go ahead and say. I think I failed to understand when Rajnath Singh was speaking, when the others spoke, why the leader of opposition wanted to make an intervention, why should not be allowed? The speaker should have given him the permission and the treasury should have yielded. No, it did not happen. Okay. So there is a clear flouting of the parliamentary
All right,
convention.
so the fader's down. We won't be able to hear you. 2 minutes are over. But, convention is demanded when things are still conventional. And I think over the last couple of sessions in Parliament, we've realized we are far from, forget about what was conventional, even something which is civil. Because if you remember the last monsoon session, things came down to blows in the Parliament. And I want to go now to Sanju Verma, and I'll come back to Dr. Dr. Mohammed right after that. Because Sanju Verma, I'm sure you wanted to respond to Ashutosh there, but it just shows the trust deficit, because everything is not according to the rule book. There is a lot that goes on in the Parliament that is not according to the rule book. It's about precedence. It's about convention, which Ashutosh also pointed out. It's about trying to create goodwill between the opposition and the government.
Preeti, let me say one thing very clearly, without offense to you. This is your show. These are your rules. The moment I even exceed 1 second, you tell me, Sanju Verma, your fader is off. I cannot hear you. So please, ma'am, calm down, right? And I don't say, nahi, Preeti ka show nahi karna, ye kya tarika hai? Bhai, show Preeti ka hai, she will call the shots. Now, there is a constitutional procedure. Ye nahi hota hai tarika ki you jump into the well of the house, you start throwing paper rockets, you start sloganeering, you start winking at people, you start mocking the chair. Okay, pehli baat to ye. Second point is this. Ashutosh will not like this when I say that, he behaves like a Congress darbari and sometimes like an Aam Aadmi Party cheerleader. I have never seen him even once acknowledge that during Operation Sindoor, Noor Khan, Rafiqi, Murid, Sukur, Sialkot, Pasrur, Chunian, Sargoda, Skaru, Bholari, Jacobabad. More than 35% of Pakistan's military infrastructure demolished by our army because the leader is Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And Ashutosh says, बीजेपी को मोदी को 240 पर लाकर खड़ा कर दिया. अरे 240 पर लाकर खड़ा कर दिया, थोड़ी शर्म आनी चाहिए आपको. ये भी एक्नॉलेज कीजिए. 3 Lok Sabha elections put together, Lok Sabha 2014, 2019 and 2024, Congress's scorecard is how much? 195. And BJP's in 3 Lok Sabha elections put together is 825. So Ashutosh, kabhi kabhar, speak sanity also. And Prime Minister Modi before the start of the session said, अब बम बारूद और गोली की बात नहीं चलेगी. जो पहले बम बारूद और गोलियों से बात करते थे, आज वो भी संविधान का जो पावर है समझ चुके हैं. That is why from 247 Naxal infested districts, we are down to just 18 districts only. India will be Naxal free by 31st March 2026. कभी बोला है इसके बारे में? आशुतोष, आपके पेट में दर्द हो जाता है तब.
Ma'am, you stopped early. I was giving you breaking convention and breaking protocol. I was giving you that 20 seconds extra of Rajat Sethi. It can happen here also. Goodwill goes a long way, I believe. But let me go. Dr. Mohammed wants to come in. I'm coming to you, ma'am. I'm coming to you, and we're going to I know you want to step in, especially because when it comes down to your leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi, stating that he's not being allowed to speak. But Dr. Mohammed, the larger question here, which was raised by then, who was, who was chairing the House, was that you ask for accountability of not being asked, of not being allowed to speak, but there's a responsibility that the LOP also has. And every time the charge from the treasury benches is that the LOP is only inciting the MPs of the opposition party.
That's a big lie. Rahul Gandhi is never allowed to speak. His mic has been shut. We know what is happening and they're scared of Rahul Gandhi. I want to tell Sanju Verma a very important thing. Unless and until you catch those 4 terrorists, you have not won anything. Let me tell you that, Sanju Verma. You're boasting, Operation this, that. We agree that's nothing to do with you. That's our army. But where are those 4 men, Sanju, hiding behind your skirt? I'm sure maybe behind your skirt they're hiding. Find them. Get them and hang them like what we did with Ajmal Kasab. That's what you need to answer, because you're not able to get it. And then you always point fingers at us. I still remember when Augusta Westland happened, AK Aunty said, we are ready to do the JPC. You all didn't want a JPC. How many times was Manmohan Singh called chore inside the parliament? You forgot that. And what about the intelligence failure? The governor, Manoj Sinha, clearly said, I take accountability. Now, if he's accountable, why has he not resigned? What is the problem after 2014? Has there been any accountability in this country? Who's accountable for Manipur? Nobody. Who's accountable for Pulwama? Nobody. Who's accountable for the intelligence failure in Pahalgam? Nobody. Where is accountability in this nation? That is the problem. What is happening? I want to know, why did this intelligence failure happen in the first place? Can you answer that to me? You have no answers. Why haven't you asked Manoj Sinha to resign? Why is the NSA still there? Why has he not resigned? There is no resignation. During our time, we in fact for 2G asked for a CBI probe. That is the difference. We are the ones who asked for it, and we have asked chief ministers to step down so that there is an impartial investigation. During this time, there is nothing. Even if a Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh molests women, he continues to be the MP. He continues to be sitting in that position. That is the issue. And Rahul Gandhi has not allowed to speak. Mallikarjun Kharge interrupted today.
Ma'am, timer. I'm going to give all of you 1 minute each to put your points forward. Ashutosh, if you want to start, 1 minute, sir, on what we can expect in the next few days of the monsoon session.
Preeti, Sanju Verma's voice is like a music to my ears. I always enjoy and have a good laugh. So I just like it, the way she speaks, the way she attacks me. I don't understand why the BJP spokesperson, I get under their skin and they get very miserable when I speak. Let's forget it. The issue today is the Indian foreign policy is the biggest failure in the last many years. American president not once but 24 times has insulted India. Where is that nationalism? Where is that bravado? And not even once the Prime Minister of the country could say, Mr. Trump, you should shut up. The Ayatollah Khamenei, despite being attacked by the Israel and America, he had given back to Trump and Israel both. Why we are keeping quiet? हमारे लोगों को हथकड़ी बेड़ियां लगा के भेजा जाता है और हमें शर्म नहीं आती. ये शर्मनाक बात है. और history will not be kind. I'm telling you this. Because the way we are dealt with, the way we have surrendered and done the ceasefire.
Sir, 1 minute is over. Rajat Sethi, your 1 minute concluding comments now, sir.
Well, I don't think that I have a wish list what I expect from this parliament session, but I just have one basic fundamental red line that should not be crossed, which is India's interest. India won Operation Sindoor hands down. Let all politicians of all hues and colors should maintain this basic decorum of not insulting our country. Look at what has happened in a black and white manner. Try and analyze it as much as you want. Get the government to acknowledge that what President Trump has said is wrong. Government has already said that on record. That it was not about trade, it was not about Trump intervening, it was about our decision to pause and only pause. The government is going to repeat the same line. Put them into account. But there is a fundamental thing that in your hatred for this government, don't hate your country. But if Donald Trump goes out and tweets, 5 jets were downed, why in a sadistic manner would you say or assume that 5 Indian jets were down? That is where the fundamental problem, and this is what Rahul Gandhi tweeted. So there can be two things about it.
Your time's up.
That's where my problem
is. But Rajat Sethi, it wasn't just said by Trump. It was said by our army chief as well, wasn't it? Just a question. But
Did the army chief talk about 5 jets?
All right, okay. Our jets were down. That's what he said. Okay.
No jets. He did not even mention jets.
I want to go to Sanju Verma.
That word also was not used.
Sanju Verma, 1 minute. Go, ma'am.
Preeti, I thought I'll get 1 minute, 20 seconds. My last
time, ma'am, you did. 15 seconds extra you got last time. 1 minute now. Let's go.
Okay. First and foremost to Ashutosh, आपको आईना दिखाया जाता है. You don't get under Sanju Verma's skin. I will call out your rabid hypocrisy and I will call you a Congress darbari. You like it or not, I care 2 hoots. You're not a journalist or a political analyst. As for Shama Muhammad, I did not want to make this personal. She said Sanju Verma must be hiding below her skirt or blah, blah, blah. Shama Muhammad, will you like it if I say you have the habit of hiding under your burqa or your hijab or your whatever, that black tent? So इसलिए यहाँ बैठकर don't make personal statements. आपकी जमात hides under a black tent. Now let me come to the moot point. Ajmal Kasab was captured by Tukaram Omble, not by the Congress government, and Indira Gandhi refused to get back just 54 Indian prisoners of war who were languishing in Pakistani jails, but she handed over on a golden platter 93,000 Pakistani POWs to Pakistan. So Shama Mohammed, शर्म आती है तो चुप हो जाओ. बेवकूफी दिखाना जरूरी नहीं है national
1
TV
minute,
पर.
Shama Mohammed, closing comments. You know, like, the fact is you guys can use it to put your party point forward, or you can use it to get on, you know, with pot shots at each other. It's your call.
See,
1 minute.
No. My thing is, you know, she should understand that anytime I tell her things like this, she could have said something else. But she comes on to my religion, calling me jihadi, calling me madrasa bed. So we understand she's a communal person, and she this is her way of answering back. Now, one thing which Ashutosh, I want to tell him, what is his name, Rajat. You know, when America attacked Iran, the Republicans also questioned Trump. Democrats question and the Republicans question. That's how a democracy works. You ask questions. There's nothing wrong. And in our foreign policy, we've completely failed. Nobody, France, UK, nobody has condemned. I mean, they condemned, but they didn't call Pakistan a terror state. Let's understand that. In 26/11 happened. It was called out. Pakistan was called out. Why hasn't the European Union? Why hasn't the US? Why hasn't Canada? Why hasn't Australia called out Pakistan? That is the issue. That means we have completely failed in our foreign policy, and all these MPs going abroad also has done nothing for us. So what we need to know, we need answers, and we will keep asking in Parliament, and Rahul Gandhi will keep
your time is up. Just with Rajat, who said that that question wasn't asked. Well, the question was asked primarily to the CDS by Reuters at that point of time, whether we had losses in the air, and the CDS had admitted, but said that we hit back with more fervor. So we were on top, but it's not that losses in the air where our jets were concerned was not addressed. It was addressed. I'm going to leave it at that. I appreciate both, all four of you for joining us. Thank you there. It's going to be one eventful session, and let's hope it's eventful. Let's hope we can get something out of there, not like what we've seen the last time around, where it's nothing but a drain of public money, taxpayers' money. Something comes out of it, that discussion that we're going to have in the Parliament on Operation Sindoor next week.